And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, you know him from his long time with the Philadelphia Eagles patrolling the secondary as a safety. You also know him from Inside the Birds podcast, of course, with our friend Jason Avant as part of his Inside the Birds network, the Q&A show with Quintin Mickell and Jason Avant, that is. Without further ado, joining us right now, Quintin Mickell. What's up, Quintin?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Appreciate it. I needed to speak to a smart secondary mind is what I need to speak to. Somebody who is smart on the secondary, somebody who knows what's what, because I have a tendency, like a lot of people in this city, unfortunately, there, Q, where I see something on paper and I go, ooh, that's really good, but it's just on paper. Don't get too excited. And then what do I inevitably do? I get too excited. What's the appropriate amount of excitement level and hype for a secondary that includes Darius Slay as your cornerback and as your number one guy, and James Bradbury now as your number two? How excited should I be? How validated is that excitement?
I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it at a 7.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's pretty good because know finding two good corners in this league is very difficult to do. So you got that there. Now,
can I real quick can I just get a comparison? What was it when the Eagles signed Steven Nelson last year?
Oh, it was probably like a 5.
Woohoo! Okay, I'll take 2 spots. I'll take 2 spots because Steven Nelson was a good solid corner. I'll say solid, decent corner, and then I think James Bradbury is obviously a couple of spots up. So I'm with you there. But go ahead. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the only reason why it's not higher with those 2 signings, because you said secondary, is the safety position, and it's got to get better. That for me, that's the reason why it's being held. Now, if you add one more guy, I know it'll never happen, but wishers can dream, and we can dream and wish. But if we could somehow pull off getting Bates out of Cincinnati, all right, you got a 10 in the defensive secondary, absolutely.
So what is Marcus Epps? Okay, we'll start with Marcus Epps here. Okay, Marcus Epps, what does he need to do to show you that he can at least be a solid safety taking over for a guy like Rodney McLeod, for instance?
So far, from what I've seen, he's shown me enough to where he can be a quality safety.
Okay.
I just think he needs the opportunity for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Maybe him and defensive coordinator Gannon don't really jive well or what, but it doesn't seem like he's really been given an opportunity to take hold at that position. And for me, I think he just needs reps. He just needs to be out there as a starter. He needs to feel that he's the guy, and he needs to feel that it's his position to lose. And I thoroughly believe if he's given the opportunity and he's given the opportunity to not only do well but also to make mistakes and not get pulled, because that's important too, I think that he can definitely develop into a very good safety for this team.
All right. You mentioned the man right there, but we'll get to Jonathan Gannon in a second. When it comes to Anthony Harris, are you confident that he'll be a guy that you could rely on as your, basically your number one guy, your guy to cover the deepest threat on the field?
I haven't. It's tough. I hate being negative on any player that plays in the league.
Sure.
You play in the league, you're a phenomenal player, phenomenal athlete. I just haven't seen enough from him over the course of last season to really warrant him holding on to that spot for long. He's a smart player, very intelligent, very he's experienced better, and he knows where to be. I just haven't seen the playmaking ability out of him. I haven't seen the leadership out of him. I haven't seen him making plays when everything else kind of falls down and you're the last line of defense. And so that's what I would like to see out of him moving forward. But so far I'm just at that position. I want more from that position.
All right. So first thing that jumps in my mind is the scheme. Is it what he's being asked to do, or is it just the way he is playing? And we all had our critiques, we'll put it nicely, of Jonathan Gannon, the type of defensive coordinator he was last year. Apparently he was pretty damn good. If you look around the league, I mean, a top 10 defense in terms of points, in terms of yards, and that's pretty damn good. He got head coaching interviews, but when it came to the style of play that we're looking at here in Philadelphia, there was no aggression. There was no turnover differential that was anything worth bragging about. They certainly weren't creating turnovers. With all these new pieces now, all defensive pieces all encompassing right now, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, all these guys, how Hassan Reddick, how much do you think Jonathan Gannon's scheme will change with the new pieces he has?
That's the interesting thing. The front seven, especially that D line, is absolutely loaded. And at any given point, you can have, 4 or 5 possible, pass rushes on the field at any point. And so I think if we base everything based on, what Gannon did last year, I'm not really hanging my hat on him having a lot of blitz schemes and a lot of fun stuff that we're used to seeing in Philadelphia. I'm thinking it's going to be more of a bend don't break type defense. I think it's going to be more of a, let the front handle, the run, and then, handle the pass rush. And so me particularly, I'm not super excited about that, but whatever works, man, whatever works for this team. If it's got to be 5 in the box, 7 in the box, 8 in the box, and load them up, then you got to do what you got to do. But I think secondary wise, if you're going to be a blitzing team, you need to get a little bit more athletic at both safety positions. And I don't think that's where we are at this point right now. So I don't see that happening in terms of, the different schemes and blitzing and all the fun stuff.
Who are you most excited of the new additions? Who are you most excited to see suit up as a member of the Eagles this year?
Oh, that's a lot. On defense, there's so many. I'm really interested to see Nakobe Dean because I thought he was a phenomenal player coming out. The fact that he slipped all the way to 3 to the third round was I couldn't believe you getting the first round talent at the number, third round pick. I'd be interested to see how they use him, if he'll be at the will position or, with a big front like we have. Can he play the mic and just kind of run inside out and make plays? So I'll be interested to see his adjustment. And then I can't wait to see Hassan Reddick. When he came out of Temple, I always kind of kept my eye on him because, he was a Temple guy. So I always kind of, paid attention to him when he was on the field. And he's just a phenomenal pass rusher. And I'll be interested to see how they use him. Are they going to use him just strictly for rushing the passer, or is he going to be dropping in coverage? So that for me is going to be the 2 guys that I'm going to keep an eye on for most part.
Did you ever think you'd see the Eagles? Like Hassan Reddick will be an edge rusher, and apparently the Eagles are. This is an interesting thing that I want to ask you about. But apparently, Eagles are separating the defensive line, like edge rushers, linebackers, and I guess interior linemen. That's odd to me. But I guess it's such a specialty position now. They just figure they need that one-on-one time with their coaches. I don't know.
Yeah, typically you see that with a 3-4 front because there's different techniques, different positions. So the outside backers, they have to learn techniques of coverage, dropping into coverage, possibly playing man. You might end up jamming a tight end and releasing to the flat. You could be rushing. So in my opinion, that's kind of normal. So now that you said that, now I have a better feel for what we're going to be seeing next year, and I think it's going to be more 3-4, up front, which I'm okay with because of the additions that they made during the draft and then after during free agency. So I'm okay with it. It's fine.
Now on the offensive side of the ball, the biggest question. A lot of people are talking about Jonathan Gannon, what he's going to do defensively speaking, offensively speaking. I think a lot of people are expecting Nick Sirianni to just call it an average game. Nothing too crazy, nothing too low or anything too high. But most people are thinking it hinges all on Jalen Hurts' shoulders right here. Hey, they went and got you A.J. Brown. Hey, you already have a pretty decent backfield there with Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott. You have these guys behind you that can back you up, and you already have Devontae Smith and a pretty good tight end in Dallas Goedert and an offensive line that a lot of people are predicting to have a good season. Do you feel like the vast majority of this is on Jalen Hurts' shoulder? Do you feel like he feels that pressure going into the season?
Yeah, absolutely. This team, in a short span, which I think the front office has done a phenomenal job the last 2 years drafting and additions that they've made. They rebuilt the offensive line. They've got youth. They got smart players. They got strong, big players. Adding AJ Brown was a phenomenal move. Running back position, tight end. You look down the line, and every position is set. And the only position that everyone's kind of not worried, but everybody's unsure about yet is the quarterback position. And so, yes, there is a lot of pressure on Jalen. Can he handle it? I think he can handle it. He's played at, I know this isn't the same, but he's played at Alabama and Oklahoma. He's played in some huge games. So I don't think that the pressure will bother him, but there definitely is a lot of pressure on him to succeed this year.
Yeah, the thing I always say about him that I love most about, and like anything about him, is the mindset he has. Like, I'll take that over his speed, his quickness. I'll take that over anything he does athletically, smart throws he makes. And we all know he's going to improve his accuracy. But I love his mindset. Like, he has the mindset of a guy that just won't quit. Like, he has the mindset of a guy that's like, all right, this is what I got to deal with now at the NFL level. Deshaun Watson rumors, Aaron Rodgers rumors, Russell Wilson, all that stuff. And he's like, okay, all right, I'm above it all. Let's play. And I think that is what will benefit him the most and what will hopefully be a long NFL career.
Yeah, and it's funny, man. In the NFL, it's unique in the sense that, like, the quarterback position is usually the only position where you never have to worry about, someone bringing someone else in. You never have to worry about. It's always, kind of coddling the quarterback position so that they can just go out there and focus on playing. Every other position, you're worried every year about someone coming in taking your job. You're worried about getting benched. You're worried about all these other things. And so it's a unique dynamic for me. And the fact that he's been through this multiple times, he's been through it through college, and he's been through it a couple years now in the league, shows that he has the perseverance to really address that head on and attack it, which I really love. And, the city of Philadelphia really get behind and appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. I want to flip back to the defensive side of things real quick and just tackle, no pun intended, James Bradberry for a second. What are we getting? Like, what version of James Bradberry are we getting? Are we getting the guy that we saw last year that had his struggles? Or are we getting the guy that we saw 2 years ago that was more of a secondary role, if you will, with the Giants? What version of him do you think we're getting?
I think we're going to get the version a couple years ago. He's a big body, big frame, taller, rangy type player. Not the fastest guy, but he's physical and he can make plays on the ball. And judging from what I think this scheme is going to look like, he's going to be playing, a little bit more press, which is good, getting him up in the faces of the cornerbacks, getting him close to the receiver, and having the opportunity to make plays on the ball. So I'm not really concerned with Bradberry. I think he's going to do phenomenal. And let's face it, it's the Giants. I mean, who wants to play up there, right? So if I was forced to play in New York, I probably would give up a couple of passes to it to help me get out of there.
Perfect. That's brilliant. All right. Last thing on Jalen Hurts now. Because what everyone remembers, the last time we saw him, we saw Todd Bowles on the sideline saying this guy can't read the defense. Like, basically, this guy can't read the defense. Now, Todd Bowles is a pretty good defensive mind. I'll go ahead and give him credit for that. So it's not exactly a huge brag that he could shut down a first ever playoff experience quarterback. However, if you're playing against Jalen Hurts, or rather, if you're going up against Jalen Hurts, what are you looking to exploit? If Quintin Mickell is still playing safety in the NFL and you're in those defensive meetings and you guys are talking about stopping Jalen Hurts, what are you doing in those meetings? What are you talking about?
So for me personally, I'm going to study his. First, I'm going to study the formations, like what tendencies do they run out of certain formations and personnel, and then I'm going to study how he throws it. What plays can damage me as a player mostly, right? How does he throw his deep ball? When he throws the deep ball, where is he looking? Is he looking only to his right? Is he looking to his left? Is he coming off his first read right now? So I think the two biggest things I'm going to study, like I said, are the personnels. Who's he looking to throw? When he gets in trouble, who's he trying to find? Is he trying to just pull the ball and run? Does he make good checks at the line? Like for instance, the Buccaneers game. Now, like you said, Todd Bowles was coming from everywhere. And the other key to that was we didn't have a solid guy that he could just get the ball out to that would make a play. Our receiving core was not up to par last year. So that kind of adds to that issue. This year is going to be a little different. You're blitzing out. If you're bringing all those people, he's going to find AJ. He's going to find Devontae because you got to go one-on-one outside. So that's going to, take that part away very quickly. So I think he needs to work on his accuracy on the deep ball. He needs to work on, studying the game and understanding the blitz schemes that he's going to see, and just know that it's different than college in the sense of every week they're going to study. They're right now studying him from 2 years ago. They're studying him from this year. So he's got to understand that they know everything you're going to do. You've got to be able to counter that and overcome it.
Well, like I said, when it comes to work ethic, I think that guy is willing to put that in the offseason. I think that's just the way his mindset is. Quintin Mikell, where can we catch you next with Q&A? You and your old teammate there and your current friend, Jason Vaughn.
Yeah, man. Wednesday mornings the show drops on Inside the Birds podcast. Q&A. We're doing so right now. We're doing like a 5-week spot. I think tomorrow's episode will drop, and it'll be the third installment of our 5-part series. And we're gonna rock that for the next couple weeks, and then we're gonna hit a little vacation and come back hard for the training camp and the regular season, man. So I'm excited.
Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but there's been a lot of craze about you guys just doing a Q&A show while you are jumping on trampolines at Launch Trampoline Park. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Hey, listen, as long as it's got the ambulance and the training staff nearby, I'm all in, because these knees are struggling a little bit. But no, I would love to do that. Hopefully we get a chance to do that, because I've been wanting to dunk on him on the trampoline for a while.
You go flying with the birds. Flying with the birds. That's what we can do. We already got a title, working title. Quintin Mickell, always great catching up with you, man. You look like $1 million damn as per usual, my friend. Make sure you guys check out Q&A podcast as part, of course, of the Inside the Birds podcast. Quintin, thanks so much, brother.
All right, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, the great Quintin Mickell joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.